Yeah, that's what I believe is right. So if you record, I can get it available to other people.
Yes, sir.
So I can only teach few people directly, but yeah, and because many people do ask me, and you can see that yeah, I do try to catch up with my messages, and but it's not always possible. Okay, so let's go back to your profile, so basically, so anybody, those who are joining me now, okay, I'm Praveen Baskir. So basically today we will cover how to enhance your career. So that's the topic of today's discussion, like how do we enhance the career. So this is what, so we are IT company, like you can, if you want to know about our company, like we have two divisions. One is obviously sustainable goal, which is this guy, which is 1.7 trillion tree plantation. We also have a well-established IT division, which is basically automate your and grow your business. So this is what we do. And helping other people get a career is one of our important target, right? So but today we are discussing with one of my student who is incidentally a MBA student from MIT ADT, and he's doing MBA system. So the query here is, how does he enhance his career? So he's currently working as an IT support. You can talk about in these areas, and he's getting a salary around 5 to 6, around that range. And of course, being MBA and being in IT industry, he does have potential to earn up to 30 lakhs, right? So that's, if not day one, but at least over a period of time, we could even more than that. Like I'm talking about 30, but I do know people who earns even crores, right? So nothing stopping from going. So, but let's take steps. So first step when we are at say 5 to 6 is obviously not move to 7-8 lakhs, but move to 10 to 15 range. So basically, and plus he's also doing MBA from our university, so he has a huge chance of jumping his careers. And we will look into different ways how he can migrate from how he can use his latest knowledge and whatever he's doing to enhance his career. So let's look at some of the reasons what people do to arrange basically get a job, right? So how do people who gets crores, and why do people get 2 lakhs, and why do people get 10 lakhs? You can see this sometimes fresh IT guys will get 60 lakh. Why do he get 60 lakh, and why did some people get 5 lakh, and why do people get 50,000 even, right? The different kind of salary range for the same kind of qualifications in the market. So let's look into that. So career is one of the major aspect of let's see if we can find the career. No, I can't find the career. Oh, training, maybe it's not here. Okay. Oh, there you go, career. That's what I'm saying. Where did it vanish? Okay, career solutions. So before you look, right, so this is more important for you. Like, you have to look why. And again, we'll not cover much of this point because I don't think it's much applicable. So basically, you should start looking. I'm not going to cover this. You can later see this video and pause this, why you are not getting the desired job. There are many reasons why you may not be getting the desired job. Right. So basically, I will let you guys go through the slide on its own, and we will discuss his case now. Take career seriously. That's another thing you have to take. You have to start getting and try to get the better job. So that's, as I said, like, don't move job just because you're getting 1 lakh or 20% extra, then 30% extra. Try to move higher up, higher band. Of course, better brain, Cartman. I will not, you should pause and read it yourself. Real life project matters. I will come discuss this more because we are discussing a case study here, not a slide. So we'll cover this guy later. Better resume. That's another thing we will discuss in more detail, like have all reasons to select you and have no reason not to select you. Of course, that's another important aspect of application is perfect applications. Like, why do you need to be shortlisted? You need to be going. So that's another thing and of course, another important aspect is automatic. Like, searching job is become pretty cumbersome. Now the market is bad. So you have to apply to lakhs of jobs. Let's fix it. You have to seamlessly apply to millions of jobs. And again, applying to millions of jobs is physically not possible. Right? How do you apply to lakhs of jobs in a day or thousands of jobs in a day? It's not possible. So that's why automatically application is important, and automatically responding to email is important as well. And of course, crack interviews, like, failures are pillars of success, but it need not be your mistakes. You can learn from somebody else's mistakes so that you are focused in cracking interview. Even if you fail, that's fine. We will watch your interview and see how do we improve your. Okay, so let's come back to this case again, right? And so basically 2.5 years, and it's a prime time. So he has been working with the same organizer, which is one of the good signs. Like, this is what companies are looking for when they are wanting to hire, because it looks like he's like a person who is not switching jobs so frequently. Like, so especially with the management skill, this is a very good, like, this shows that this person is very much interested in sticking together and not wanting shortcut to success, right? So one way, as we already discussed, is right. IT support, you can always move from indirect clients to direct clients, like, which because most of this IT support is now online, right? These are all online product. Office 365 is online. Active Directory is online. Azure AD is online. So these more or less is all online job, which could be done anywhere from the world, right? So you could directly service organization, like you could service NHS, you could service like some of the big direct earners, not IT services, but direct. There's a could be a straight jump. Oh, I'm not sharing my screen. That's the problem. Okay. Okay, let's go. So that's one thing you have to see, right? Okay. Right. So basically, that's one thing you can do. One aspect, like, you can actually migrate to better thing. The second thing I just talked about is Azure job. Basically, Azure is this is the company I was talking about. Okay, let's go to Azure. Right. So these are the terms you have to look for. So basically, these are the things. As I said, there's a Microsoft free license Azure available for 1 year. You should subscribe for it and start trying all these products, whatever they're wanting to do. Are you with me, Ajay? Viswa?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so basically you look at some of these terms, right? So this is, we look into it. We can also look at Naukri.com and see what they're looking for, but it will be more or less same kind of thing which they are looking. Because this is a future a little bit, because that's how these are the current requirement in Western market, which eventually come to India. Like, India lags behind, like 1 or 2 years behind these, because obviously we are servicing these industries in back here. Right. And before that, you were, let's see, go back here. Yeah, so you were doing electronics and telecom, which is again automation kind of thing, which, okay, so that's, yep, I think, yeah. So one thing you can do is, you can say Bachelor of Engineering and maybe just drop the word electronics, and you can leave it. I think it's not that bad. Okay, so basically now you have to focus on. So first is you need to have one profile like this for these, so basically if you look into the way I do it, how I would do it, right? Because I have made an example. So let's go here and see, where is this guy? So I am seeing like 2 potential profiles for you right now. And of course, there's a third one, management as well. You could talk about sustainability, but I don't know whether, because because there's a lot of pages even there, and that's a third profile, but maybe that's for a later on down the line when you go to management. So let's go here, resume. Okay, where did the resume folder went? Okay, so vanishes. Okay, no worries. Let's find it. Resume. Oh, there you go. So basically, you need to make profile, right? So another thing about Azure, it's also called Cloud OB or DevOps, right? So you can see that I made something for data, query, security. So this is a focus resume you have to make. Like, we called about profile. So if we go back to slide, right? Better resume. So basically you need to upgrade your resume to mention. So yeah, so you basically, when you're making a resume, right? Right, what you have to do, they're looking for these terms. They are looking for, let's say, let's look at this job, right? And you can apply even for senior DevOps, right? There's no, because you already have enough experience. Like if your resume mention those terms, and if you are able to crack the interview, we'll cover that aspect. Like how do we cover? Okay, he says 6 to 10 years, but you can still apply and say 3 to 4 years experience, right? So these are the terms. You can see it's the same kind of thing, DevOps, Jenkins, so these are the things which you need to start knowing, and you need not know all of them day one. So you can start knowing. What you can do is look into 5 or 10 jobs and see what are the common factor which all those jobs have. So those are the terms you need to master, like Docker, Kubernetes, so look into here as well, so look into here what they are asking. So these are the terms which you have to now master and start adding. So basically your resume is being built from what people are actually looking for, right? And what you have to do is now, how do you justify that, right? So basically, let's go back to your profile. So basically, when you make your resume, you basically drop every other thing which doesn't add to that profile. So suppose they're not asking for Office 365 license management, you will not add in that resume that word at all, right? You will only add Azure AD. This is what you do. Active Directory is still used because it's another backbone of, you can add this term like mail management, because mailing is another aspect of it. Two-factor authentication, authorization. These are the terms which are also Azure using, because you need to still set up security and authentication. So a lot of stuff, you can say Office 365 integration, So you can use the same term, but in such a way what clients are wanting to hear. And what is client wanting to hear? You can look here. This is what client wanting to hear. Do you get me, Viswa? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Did you understand how to update your resume to make a brand new resume?
Yes, sir.
Like you
Yes, sir.
basically have to have 2 different profile completely, like the way I have. Like, if I open this guy, cloud architecture, right? And if I open one of the developer, you will see completely different. Not that the projects are different, not that the employment are different. It's just the wordings are different. We highlight different ways. We are not lying. We are just hiding what we only highlighting what we want, what they want to hear. It's not important what you did. It's important what they want to, their requirement is important, more important than yours requirement. Okay. So when I talk about here, we'll talk about cloud and solution, right? Everywhere you see, I've labeled it, cross-labeled it like, hey, and we cloud application and blah, blah, blah. But if I open a different resume, say UI, which is another popular resume job, of course, you're not in that market, but I will show you like how different the resume looks. Even though the projects are same, even though the clients are same, even though the companies are same. Again, so here you can see like it's completely, I've even removed the, so basically, yeah, it looks like a completely different profile, but even though it is the same profile, like, and if you go to the other resume again, right, let's go again, architect. So you'll see that even the projects are exactly the same. Like, okay, maybe I haven't updated, but otherwise the project are exactly the same. Like we are just defining different terms. So basically you have to find terms which they are looking for. You got an idea, Viswa, how to make 2 different resume? You basically copy the resume what you have and start removing terms which is not relevant to what they're looking for, and add terms what they are looking for in this kind of jobs. Okay. So that's one thing you have to do. Yeah. And again, you have to start applying many jobs. Like, you basically your perfect application means like, if you come back, better resume profile, make better resume, get human reviewed. So you can actually then use it. You can also do you don't have to do AIMS, but if you know you can play with the words, see what works and what doesn't work. What usually we do is, we pick up more factors and we try to correlate, like, so yeah, of course you don't have a AI now, but we do have engine behind us, but how do it essentially does it, like, how does the AI build? AI basically looks into what is the most common aspect. In fact, it can even write resume, but obviously can't write 10 of the resume yourself, but this is one. Send the right profile, like, so if you're applying to the Azure jobs, send the Azure profile, right? So, and of course you need to practice test for Azure. So you see Google the real life interviews, right? So when it comes to so basically perfect applications, right? Send the correct profile to right client. You need to track which profile you send to which client. So you have to be really careful here aspect, right? So when you're applying, you need to see if it is going to a third party, it's fine, right? But if it's going to a different party, you need to be careful with how do you apply. So you need to track which client you have sent which resume, right? So you need to basically make a conscious decision, like, hey, for this client, and maybe in a month you can change it if you want it, right? And you need to apply more. And as I said, you can apply to Azure job, but you can apply to others as well, right? Basically, you need a job, that is more important. And also customize the cover letter, like have 2 cover letters, right? One's for suiting Azure and one for this guy. And as I said, you can start subscribing to Azure DevOps, right? So how do you add more Azure keywords right now? So in your job, right, you're already dealing with Azure. So basically you can, plus even in home, so you can add more Azure stuff in your work. Like you can, whenever you get some lull time, you can start reading more about Azure and start applying some of those, start researching how you can save a company more, like, more Azure features, right? And so that's one way, right? Any other question, Vishwa?
No, sir.
I think that should be it. Crack interview. Okay. So yeah, this is another one, right? So basically, when you are applying to jobs, right? So one thing is keywords, right? So second thing is you have to build the knowledge. So which I told you, right? Subscribe to this guy and then watch I think the very good way to start is watch the YouTube high level video, understand what all the terms are, Joes are, right? What is B2C, what is C2C, C2C, B2C, B2B, how do we set up those things? Then look for real interviews, right? So basically, say Infosys had a job on that, then you will actually find interviews, real life interviews. Like we do publish a lot of interviews, and unfortunately I don't have one on Azure, but again, you can certainly find it. Like we not only refer to our videos, but we also refer to other videos also, right? So you could actually find videos, like I will tell you from our example. Again, whenever you're giving interview, you should also record your interview if possible, and that way if you fail, right, we know why you failed, which question you couldn't answer, and or maybe it is not about how do you answer the question, but your appearance, how you're responding, because those things matters at the end of the day. It's not only about technicality. A lot of times selections are based on some of the soft factors, which is not technical in nature, right? Like what is the politics, who is asking the question, how do you, they basically, interview is a process about asking what the other guy want to hear. So that's how you crack interviews, right? So you need to understand, of course, I think you're still young, so you don't have to worry about improving your smartness or intelligence, but we do have program where we can increase like intelligence up to 3 factors, like 300%. So but if required, you could even you can consult me and we can suggest you some food to enhance your brain power. How do you enhance your CPU? You have to think like a human is a machine, okay? And this, how do you enhance your productivity? So the one way is sustainability, but there's other ways to improve as well. So I think that will automatically respond. As now, that's fine. Perfect application, you already customized, we already cover. Matching client, better resume. Yeah, the real life project, right? That's coming to you, this guy. So basically, the other thing people are looking for is not just a keyword. right? They will actually come down and look in your resume. Like if I'm applying for web job, they will look for web keyword because they are smart also. They are human beings, right? They will look for, especially the client, if not the recruiter. Recruiter may not understand. But when it goes to a client, because a developer will read your resume, right? Who will interview you. And then he will say, hey, this doesn't look like a web developer. This doesn't look like Azure. Hey, you're saying you worked on Azure, but there's not a single thing which you have done in Azure. So not only you need to have a keywords, you need to have word describing those. And how do you get those words? By practicing them. So basically you have downloaded the subscription, like you have joined the subscription, and you will start adding those keywords, right? So you will do a dummy project, upgrading from this to this, upgrading client, build portal, build this, deploying Angular application in DevOps. So you will start adding stuff on it. Do you get me, Vishwa? Are you
Yes,
there
sir.
with me?
Yes,
So
sir.
this is how you customize. And because you have only worked in one project so far, right? One company. Right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So now this is very less. One thing you can do is, right, you could have, it is nothing, you can add many bullet points, which may not look good, right? So what you can do is, so what you can do is you want to have one employment, right? And then add multiple projects. Don't add dates to it because that will confuse. Then you will be stressed to define when it happens. And so you can add like multiple 6 or 7 projects like that. You understand me? So make your resume 2-page long projects.
Yes.
Repeat the point. It may not be, see, if you see my resume, what I'm doing, right? How I'm repeating. Provided future UI interface with keep it in the same. Technology is Angular. Okay, let's go back to the same thing. Providing you. So it's the same word. And your different project. But so what the project is about, that's the description. And then some cases I copy paste, but some cases you can use your own keyword, right? You could use some of the sustainability project, right? You could start doing all metrics project. Like you can start doing projects on your own and start adding them here. And you're doing in the same period. So employment can still remain the same, but the sub project can change. And some of the project can be yours. You can slide in your project, which you have done. Do you understand me?
Yes.
And what is the best way to get project? Find a resume, right? Find a DevOps in research expert here. Look for his terms, like look for 5 or 6 years and look for his term and add his project and just do the project also, right? Use the word from his resume, like use somebody else's resume. Like let's see if I can find a DevOps resume, right? Let's see that. So IT. DevOps probably I will. Microsoft probably it's in there. Let's look some of the recent one. Yeah. So this is SharePoint Azure. So SharePoint is another one. Sorry, this is not SharePoint Azure. Again, this is a profile similar to you, and we suggested them to move to 2 different things. SharePoint is another technology. Have you used SharePoint?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so maybe for now, leave that. Focus on Azure, because SharePoint is another big area, okay? Which you could have a third profile called SharePoint. Yeah, which is another big area, okay? So I'm going to just look into, I don't know whether we can find, but again, these are these are pretty old resume, all of them. Date modify. Okay, I haven't got a recent resume here, but again, you got an idea, right? How do we get point? Like you basically find a resume, experience resume, copy the project, and I'm not saying just copy the project, but actually do the project also. Okay, I'm not telling you to lie, but I'm telling you what the clients are wanting to look, and how do you basically do it. Basically you copy it and then you do it. That's how you justify it. Okay, and then be careful. You have to actually tell about it. They might suddenly say, hey, interview, okay, Vishwa, please, okay, what were you doing with this project? You should be able to not only write the project about, you need to be very involved in that project, what you did, how you did. So you need to have a picture play, like you can actually make a proper case study and proper thing. Okay, You need not have to tell the Ministry of Defense or something. You can, because for you, the client could be saying, and you could define how will that project help your current organization, or maybe your organization client even, like, you know, it's the IT service. Maybe it's already servicing some of the AD client. Right. So now the whole story has to pass together. So basically, you have to see what your clients are using in Azure and what they're going to do, you know, set up Azure account, set up Azure thing, set up B2C, help developers set up developer account, create Azure environment. So if you go to Azure, like Azure has like 20 keywords. It's actually called DevOps, Azure DevOps, okay? But if you don't know the term, okay? So if you come here, so this is the place to get started. So what are Azure Kit 5? How do you create a virtual repository, database, a JSON server, a JSON API? There are a lot of things to be done here, okay? How do you write CI/CD pipeline? So basically, you have to marry what they're asking in the jobs. Okay, I think it's a pretty good. Any question you have more?
No, sir. Nothing so far.
Okay, so this is, I think this will help you, because the first of all, build a profile, same profile you have to better companies, like, but be sure not to apply to all, right? You apply to like higher up, like, you know, where they're saying expected salary 8 lakhs plus, okay? And Azure also, you also build a profile and apply to, again, same kind of thing, you know, 8-9 lakhs. Or maybe 10 lakhs, because Azure market will be 10 to 30 lakhs, and your other market could be probably 5 to 10 lakhs. So you could go to the higher end, but I think Azure, but again, no harm in trying both the market. Like suppose if you get a jump start of 100% in your salary, which is not a bad, and maybe next time you can jump from 10 to 20. You know? Good. So all the
Yes,
best.
sir.
All the best. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Right. So let's conclude. So if anybody has any question, how to get enhance this career, so be commenting so that we can discuss your case study, how we can help you. There are a lot of slides here, but of course, one way is to join the regular program. And we feed you regularly, but you can always, we can study your case study just for 5 minutes. You can quickly do that, and we can do that. Have a nice day, everybody. And anybody has questions, just comment here. Okay, bye.
Thank you.